Hello, Weed Freak 976 here with the truth. And this is part 2 of my Socialism versus Fascism video. This is going to be more about the debunking of how there are poor, misguided people out there who still think that National Socialism is socialism. Well, I'm going to debunk that. And I'm also going to read some quotes from a book that I got off of Amazon. It's no longer on Amazon, but you can get used copies. I got me one. It's called German Big Business and the Rise of Hitler by Henry Ashby Turner, Jr. And it shows how Hitler was a free market, privatized, big business, corporate butt kisser. And let's get to some more quotes from History and Politics 77. I love the young man's article about argument by name debunked. In other words, saying that National Socialism, put the word socialism in there, it's socialism. Well, I watched another great video, and it said, you know what? Fun, the word fun, is in funeral. F-U-N, fun. I guess funerals are fun, right? And the word conservative has con in it, C-O-N. So does that automatically make conservative a con job? I put that in my last video, the link to it, so if you haven't watched it, if you want to go back and check out the links, there's some great videos that I put underneath there. Okay, here we go. The national part should be obvious. They were nationalists pure and simple. Aside from being the one element of the party name that was actually descriptive, Hitler and Drexler, by putting the word nationalist into the party name, was designed to attract those already nationalists, like for example, those who like to support the DNVP, the German Nationalist People's Party. Do you, Mr. Reader, without looking it up, by the way, consider it to be a party of the people? Anyway, the DNVP was formed in 1918 by a merger of the German Conservative Party, the Free Conservative Party, and a section of the National Liberal Party of the old monarchy German Empire. So obviously, it was deeply conservative party, and is anyone disputing that? Well, anyone who really knows anything about history will not dispute it. The next one, another brilliant quote. This one is from a book. Yeah, you know, those things that still exist. The courses Hitler attended were designed to root out any lingering socialist elements from the regular Bavarian troops and indoctrinate them with the beliefs of the far right. So regularly did Hitler imbibe the ideals of such men that he was picked out by his superiors and sent as an instructor on a similar course in August 1919. Evans, IBID, page 169. Now, my final quote, I'll just read a little bit of it because it's a big quote, but I will read some of it. In reality, Hitler's social ideal was simplistic, diffuse, and manipulative. It amounted to a little more than what he told his Burgos audience in Hamburg, more specifically what he told the Hamburger on 28th of February 1926. Got tongue-tied. Winning the workers over to National Socialism, or nationalism, destroying Marxism, and overcoming the division between nationalism and socialism through the creation of nebulous national community. Now get that, folks. National community. The fusion of nationalism and socialism would do away with the class antagonism between a nationalist Burgosi and Marxist Marxist, both of which had failed in their political goals. This would be replaced by a community of struggle where nationalism and socialism would be united, where brain and fist would be reconciled, and where denuded of Marxist influence. That is from Ian Kershaw, Hitler, abridged, page 181 to 182. Now, those folks are facts. Those are from respected, well-known historian, authors and books that cannot be refuted. As Anti-BS Man said about his wonderful video about the right to die, there is no counter-argument. And I dare anyone to come up with an actual argument to this, with everything I've shown you. Okay? Here are some quotes from Adolf Hitler and Karl Marx to show you the difference between the two men. If I could have annihilated all the Jews, but I left some of them to let you know why I was annihilating them. The victor will never be asked if he told the truth, Adolf Hitler. If I can send the flower of the German nation into the hell of war without the smallest pity for the shedding of precious German blood, then surely I have the right to remove millions of an inferior race that breeds like vermin. Now, folks, how do you think that sounds compared to this? Society does not consist of individuals, but expresses the sum of interrelations, the relations within which these individuals stand. Karl Marx. The country that is more developed industrially only shows to the less developed the image of its own future. Karl Marx. Capitalist production, therefore, develops technology, and the combining together of various processes into a social whole, only by sapping the original sources of all wealth, the soil and the labor. Karl Marx. Now, that man was the laborer, excuse me. That man was for people rights, human rights, and stuff. Hitler was not. Now, somebody please tell me, connect the dots. I would love to hear this on how National Socialism is socialism, how it's Marxism even. And people keep forgetting that. They keep saying, well, communism, Mao and Stalin. I had some people keep trying to drill it in my head. And nobody denying that Stalin and Mao were monsters. But there was a big difference. When Marxism started out, it was a people person, again, a community controlled. Only more, well, no, it was more state controlled, excuse me. I'm talking about regular socialism. But it was meant to give power back to the people through the state, just like even communism. It's total state control, but it gives power back to the people. When Stalin and Mao got done with communism, it was more centralized and it was more fascism. It was not socialism, because it was more about nationality and centralized power. It was not about spreading the wealth out, okay? That's the big difference right there. If you can understand that, you'll understand the difference between socialism and communism and fascism. I hope I'm saying that right. I really do. I think I am, because I really believe in this. I really do. I'm a socialist now, and I love it because socialism is for equality. And I'm going to do a video about a guy named Casper Key who said some of the dumbest things I've ever heard before in my life. So I'm going to debunk some of his sayings big time. But here is from German Big Business and the Rise of Hitler. Some of the companies that were gave to Hitler and were privatized, not only just privatized, but they reaped benefits much more after Hitler got into office. The United Steelworks, formed in 1926 by a merger of three major concerns and commanding of 800 million marks. It immediately became the second largest steel firm in the world behind the U.S. Steel. Mansamann, Crump, Klockner, Gutenhofer Smith, and Hoss. Those were some of the steel. There's more here. And they were worth 160.3 million marks for the first to 50 million for the last. Okay, now they named some other ones. Operating banks. Destuts Bank, Discontato, Grishoff Bank. I'll name a few. And there were three others here, and if you name them, and the private bank, 150 million marks for the first and 60 million marks for the last. But after Hitler got in, let's see, Brava with 11.8% of the population, their profits went up by 32% by 1934. Wow. It's right here. I hope people can see it well enough. If you can't, sorry, but if you get the book, which I hope somebody does, you can read those chapters right there and get all the info that you need. Okay? And now I'm going to talk a little bit of something. I'll probably continue it in part 3. It's the Nolan political compass, which is a valid political compass, but it's been misused by right-wing neocons and libertarians who have tried to take this wonderful political system chart and basically just try to screw it up. Okay, so here I go. The Nolan political compass is a good secondary compass for occasional specific scientific and sociological uses. It is the left-right compass we use always in debates. In our eyes, it comes as more natural. It is makes the most realistic sense and is the most reliable and the most accurate, and always the primary used. Okay, now, but here's something that really just made me angry. I went to the political Nolan, or the Nolan political chart website, and just to give you an idea, real quick, what the Nolan political chart is. It's like you have 4 shapes of libertarianism, right wing, left wing, and socialism. I think, yeah. And there's 4 put up. And it's a pretty good way to, the left-right way of doing it. But the libertarians, let me say that again, use the 4-way thing. That's a little more confusing. And they don't follow it. And listen to this. You are asked to choose the response that best describes your feelings. Not your facts, but your feelings. Okay, now they asked them who, a lot of their readers, who was the king of the free market movement? Now, who would you think they would say? Murray Rothbard. The great libertarian Murray Rothbard, or Ludwig von Mises. Friedrich von Hayek. No. Augusto Pinochet. Or Pinochet, excuse me. The man who killed 3,197 people, tortured 29,000 people. That man from Chile, who wanted to get rid of left-wing socialists and Marxists and communists and stuff. Those were the first people, and it's always the first people in a fascist regime. Those are always the first people that are rounded up, even under Hitler, and those are the first ones who were usually killed. It's just what Hitler did to the Jews was way worse. But believe it or not, the people who were rounded up first were the socialists, the communists, and the Marxists. Okay, now listen to this. They ask you questions based on you have to give an emotional answer. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. People are ultimately divided more by class than nationality. If an economy is not, that's the only 2 I wrote down. Okay, now tell me, folks, what the heck, they're asking you to give emotional answers. I'll put up the link to the website, and this guy debunked it, basically. That's not factual information. That's emotion. Facts are when you tell what is really going on, really happening. This is emotion. If you want to believe in your emotions, fine, but when you debate politically, you're supposed to use facts. Like when I get from Britannica and all these other places, I'm trying to give out facts here because I'm not going by emotion. That's why I switched to a socialist, because I'm sick and tired of using just emotion. I want facts. And, I hope that you learn from this. I hope that you get a sense of what socialism really is. And what it is not, and what fascism is, what National Socialism is and stuff. I just think that when you read this and everything, if you don't want to be a socialist, I can't make you be a socialist. But at least don't believe the lies about it. And in the third one, I'm going to go in more into the Nolan chart and some more about the different types of socialism and stuff. But I really, in this one, wanted to finish up debunking National Socialism being socialism was just an ultimate joke. So I hope you enjoyed, and ladies and gentlemen, until next time, that's the truth.